Does that momentum carry over to the pro ranks too, do you think, Brian? Or is everybody so focused on their own thing that's not going to creep into their head?
No, actually, like when you're back in the locker room, out here, especially teammates, they're watching each other. Everybody's watching fights in the back. You know, everybody's aware of what's happening around them.
And this is Shane Valko. He is our first fighter to get into the cage for the professional round one, brought to you by I believe it was Good Speed Auto Tires, and Brandon Wheeler is going to be our other competitor tonight against Valko. Both fighters 5-1 coming out of the amateur ranks and pretty evenly matched, fellas.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Shane right now. The first thing that pops up, NCAA national champ. He's going to look probably to use his wrestling tonight.
What would make you think that? An NCAA national champ?
It might. You know, he might use it. I don't know yet.
He's from Pitt, Johnstown, so he definitely has a real high degree of wrestling experience. Meanwhile, you've got Brandon Wheeler, who's entering the ring right now. He says that he wants to keep this bout standing, so conflicting styles here.
Absolutely. Well, that's just the situation. You know, you get up against an NCAA champion, yeah, you're going to definitely keep it standing.
I'm going to go ahead and say that it's Brandon Wheeler's going to have his work cut out for him. If he can keep this fight standing more than, 30 seconds, then that's a good sign for him. But it's going to be very, very, very challenging.
Shane Valko, a little bit older, good tire service, giving us a look at the stats for these fighters as they get into the ring. Valko 27, Brandon Wheeler 22. Valko predicting a stoppage in the first round, guys.
Interestingly, Valko tweaked his knee during training, actually not that long ago. I wouldn't have said anything about it, before the fights tonight, but since they're in the cage, he did tweak his knee. I'm curious to see if that comes into play at all. So he may, that may be his plan, take him down, beat him up, and get rid of him quick.
Let's go into the ring with Dan Bogan, our fight announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our first pro fight of the evening, and it's going to be a bantamweight contest. The pros fight for 3 5-minute rounds. First, let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. He's got a 68-inch reach. He's making his professional debut with us this evening. He's from Hagerstown, BJJ and MMA. Hagerstown, Maryland's own Brandon Wheeler. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he's 5 feet 5 inches tall, 137 pounds with a 65-inch reach. Also making his professional debut this evening, he fights out of the Mat Factory and Silent Victory. He's from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Shane Valko.
And we're ready to start round number 1 tonight for the professional ranks. Two guys making their debut, Wheeler and Valko. Valko, the wrestler, Wheeler, the more stand-up guy. He has an amateur belt to his credit, so this could be something that, as we talked about with a couple of the fights in the amateurs, we had a couple guys that were fighting like each other, but these are conflicting styles, and they say styles make the match.
Yeah, these are conflicting styles, and honestly, on paper, this is a conflicting style way in Valko's favor. Wheeler's got his work cut out for him in a big, big way with this wrestler here in Valko.
Once again, good tire service, giving you round 1, and quickly Valko takes him to the mat.
Incredible amount of aggression coming right off the
That was nice. Looks for the guillotine up against the fence. That looks like it's in.
Boy, Valko is having knee problems. He's not showing them early. Lots of leverage to start this fight.
Yeah, and the legs of Valko are like
incredibly conditioned.
Yeah.
He's got calves like a 3-4 nose tackle in the NFL.
Yes, he does.
These guys are only fighting at 135, but Valko is just 100% muscle. He is really thick.
Kudos to Wheeler. He's in a really uncomfortable position. Adam knows this from training. The position he was just in is really uncomfortable, even if you're not gonna tap. Right. It does not feel good at all.
Oh no, he did a great job. Showed a lot of heart in getting out of that.
Tons of heart. Look at that.
Oh, he's got a head and arm choke from the bottom. if he can get off to the side, he can get that, but immediately lets go. Again, now professional rules, we have elbows involved, which can be a very big game changer, especially for the person on the bottom. You can really do some damage with them.
Yeah, Wheeler employing a rubber guard there for just a minute to try to land some elbows. Very flexible.
Oh, big slam.
He might have slammed himself into an armbar. He gets out of it.
Wow.
Wheeler incredibly composed.
Is this the right move here, guys, to say there's patience standing up for Valko?
Right. He wants to take his time here. He doesn't want to fall on anything.
Wheeler might have made a mistake there. He might have got a little impatient.
Good knee. Immediately showing his NCAA champion status there. Valko's got that underhook, and that's really important. A couple elbows being exchanged there.
Valko, the wrestler, attempting a little judo throw there.
Pretty clear that Valko has a lot of strength in that compact body of his. The ease with which he picked up Wheeler and slammed him to the mat.
Big knees. Oh, and this is a tight guillotine. If he can finish this.
Wheeler was able to wiggle out there.
Yeah.
Now he's got to, defend his back. Wheeler clearly comfortable on the ground. He's almost inviting Valko into his guard, but he's taking punishment on the way in.
Wheeler wants to get off the cage. He wants to get away from the cage. If he wants to still use his jiu-jitsu, he can use the cage to get up. But jiu-jitsu, you got to have some open mat. You got to be able to move those hips.
Absolutely.
Well, that right landed.
So far, Valko is employing his strategy basically to perfection. Just overwhelming aggression, nonstop. And this is Mat Factory, guys. This is Dempsey, Mazada. These guys come out of the Mat Factory. They work, and this one is deep.
He's got an anaconda choke. Falls right down into half guard. It does. Wheeler looks comfortable on the ground. Again, he's looking for that head and arm choke from the bottom. What I'm reading here is Wheeler, Naga world champion, which is probably why he's pretty comfortable on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. If he's got some Naga championship matches under his belt, or even one, no wonder he's actually going to his back against an opponent like Valko.
So perhaps some reverse strategy and suggesting that he wanted to keep it standing.
Less than a minute left in the round. Wheeler's working submissions here in the open mat, as you said, Adam.
Right. That's pretty much where he wants to be. Looks like Valko is just trying to stack him up a little bit, looking to escape. Goes for the slam again. He's got to be careful with his arms, though. His arms are out, and again, Wheeler goes for that armbar, misses it.
It looks like he might be going for a knee bar here.
Oh, he's working on it. He's got it. He's got the knee bar. Shane's in trouble. Shane's got to move.
That's not a good position.
He's got to roll. He's got to do something. He's got to roll, use his other leg to push off of him to create space.
If Wheeler can adjust here in the last 10 seconds, he might finish this. Valko's just trying to hold it up.
Valko's in pain, obviously, right now.
Absolute pain.
When you go back to it, that was intense.
If that was the knee that was hurt from before, I mean,
yeah.
What a stud Valko is. He's limping back to his corner.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I wonder if that was the torque knee.
We're taking a look at the takedown and the slam again here, fellas.
If Wheeler's corner looks over into Valko's corner or saw him limping, they're going to be advising their charge to go right for that knee again.
And they are icing that left knee heavily right now in the corner.
Boy, the power of Valko, man, lifting him up and slamming him on the mat. That was intense.
I was gonna say that, Wheeler, for a jiu-jitsu guy, he's very comfortable there, but he was allowing his shoulders to be flat on the mat.
We're gonna get a replay here of what he was doing to Valko's knee.
That's locked out.
He had a foot lock.
Yeah, he went to the figure four.
So Valko at that point was just doing exactly what we saw transpire. Is keep your fingers crossed and hope the round ends really, really soon, right?
It looked like
To see if he
Valko was
can
lifting his
sustain the
hand to
pain.
tap. It looked like he was lifting his hand to tap to me. 5 more seconds in that round.
Yeah,
it might
Wheeler
not be
would've had
going.
it.
So how do you score that round, guys, with Valko carrying so much of the momentum, but then having that pretty technically sound leg lock at the end?
Well, you got to look at it. Takedowns weigh heavily on a judge's decision. Valko definitely was the aggressor.
Yeah, the
he got the
aggression being on
takedowns.
top. Yep.
Even though Wheeler did a great job of, working the submissions and the submission attempts, yeah, I got to give it to Valko still.
It's pretty to watch, and for the true connoisseurs and fans of this sport to watch somebody like Wheeler, number one, his heart, and then to work his art under fire like that is fantastic. However, Valko most likely took that round based on the aggression and top control.
Valko took him down and went to side control, was working ground and pound, but Wheeler was able to get right back to guard. It shows you his skill in jiu-jitsu.
I'm not a Brazilian black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but one concern I have about Wheeler's is laying flat on his back a lot. He's not shifting his hips quite enough, although he did here. Now he's going for a submission.
Looks like he's got an arm bar. What he's got to do, he's got to start, extending his hips up to start creating some space there. Valko doing a good job of, keeping him confined to that.
I've never seen anybody, Adam, work in almost like this. Brandon's on his back in this sort of crab position, waiting to see what Valko does, and then he's going to respond. Most of the time you're going to hear a jiu-jitsu coach say, don't lay flat on your shoulders like that. Shift your shoulders, shift your hips.
The hips are a big thing to go for. I mean, you got it. You got to be able to shift your hips, create angles. It's just like striking. If you want to, knock out your opponent, you got to create an angle on him. Same thing if you want to submit your opponent. Create an angle. Use your hips.
From a strategy standpoint, if I'm Wheeler's corner, I'm quite frankly, I'm yelling at him to get up because I want to test that knee of Valko. I want to make him get up and see what kind of power he's got standing up, and now we have a stand-up here.
Yeah, Chip Snyder's making him stand up right now, the referee. That left eye is closing for Wheeler more and more as this round goes on.
Wheeler just landed a kick right to that knee of Valko, took
Valko
the knee
slips.
out.
Valko has great hips, good scramble ability. Was in a bad situation and made it okay when Wheeler came in.
That is high level wrestling everybody's seeing. I don't know if people here tonight realize the level of wrestling that they're seeing. This kid's hurt, his knee's hurt. He got his leg kicked out from under him and exploded up and took a top position.
That being said, then, Brian, what do we expect from these two in the future, even beyond this bout, if they're that polished in their pro debuts?
Both of these guys have a bright future. I'm just impressed with Wheeler. I think everybody expected Valko to come in and just bulldoze him, juggernaut style, which he was doing, but Wheeler's composed, and that's professional level composure there.
Yeah, Wheeler's doing a great job. He's controlling him nice. Actually had him pinned up against the cage, was actually particularly the more aggressive fighter at that particular moment. Again, though, he's back down and working from the guard position. But the one thing you got to look out for is later in the rounds, when you're working jiu-jitsu, we don't have shirts on there, we don't have gis on there. So, eventually that sweat starts to, actually make it difficult for submissions.
Valko just passed the side control, and Wheeler actually used it as an opportunity.
Wow.
Wheeler's jiu-jitsu is slick.
Great jiu-jitsu. And he's got a darce, bottom side darce here for Wheeler. If he can torque on this,
get his hips off of Valko's hand, his left hand is blocking.
He's actually
Wheeler's
using the cage.
The hand's out of the way now.
He's got the darce.
He's got to sit down on his other hip, I believe, here to. He had to give it up.
But that probably took a lot out of him, out of Valko.
Adam, explain the bottom side darts. What are you going for there in that situation?
That bottom side darce, what you're looking to do is, use your forearm to try to create more pressure on the neck and possibly, it's more of a reverse anaconda. That's the best way to put it. and it's actually a very painful choke, and it will choke you out unconscious very quickly.
Yeah, Wheeler was spending time on the back of Valko there.
And a flying punch applied there by Valko at the end, so maybe it's this time that Valko finishes strong in the second round.
Absolutely impressive, both of these guys. This is
a war.
I don't know what kind of bonuses Robert Joseph and the Gladiators guys are giving out, but they're fighting for fight of the night. This is a great fight.
We're going to do a replay of the kick right now and take a look again at some of the action from that previous round. What are you seeing here, guys?
Wow, Valko actually threw a kick, and you know, Wheeler blocked it, did a little bit of a shin block, cut him off guard, but again, using a wrestling ability, he scrambled and got to a good position and recovered really nicely.
Wheeler had the back there, and it's just, this is where jiu-jitsu and wrestling, you know, they're always at odds. Jiu-jitsu guys and wrestlers, they're at odds, and you saw an example of it right there. Jiu-jitsu guy had his back, wrestler powers right out of it. Jiu-jitsu, you know, they call it the gentle art. It takes finesse. Wrestling takes finesse too, but you know, there's a lot of sheer power and force involved. Yeah.
Yep. Brian, Adam, how would you score that second round?
I think I got to give it to Wheeler on that one, actually.
I think I agree.
I think the person who wins this round is going to win the fight.
I agree with that.
A big right kick applied there by Valko. Goes down to the mat again.
Wheeler almost landed that double leg on an NCAA national champion. Almost is the key operative word there. Couldn't quite finish it.
Action right in front of us right now.
Oh, Wheeler's going to have to take his time now. It sounds strange to say in the third round, but he's going to have to pick his spot, you know?
Absolutely.
He's going to have to try to pick a spot. Now he's in fully mounted. This is bad news for Wheeler. Incredibly flexible.
Look at that. Wow.
Going for the attack on the leg again is Wheeler. Rolling for that knee bar.
I think he knows what he wants.
You've used the phrase connoisseur a couple times, Brian. Seeing as how that's what the judges are paid to be, do they lean towards Wheeler in some of these scoring decisions based on how well he's defending himself?
Well, unfortunately, in the judging situation, a lot of the judges haven't been as familiar with, say, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Many times they do a lot of boxing, a lot of stand-up, a lot of boxing. They really don't know as much about Jiu-Jitsu, and it's not a knock on them. They work hard, they do their best. But, you know, a lot of commissions in different states, it tends to be a complaint, as they don't know quite as much about Jiu-Jitsu, some of the deeper levels of the grappling art in particular.
Did you echo that, Adam?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Big right hand.
You cannot question the heart of Wheeler. Absolutely cannot question it.
Great job. Still looking for those arm bars, knee bars. He's pulling out a lot of tricks.
The more time Valko has to spend defending, the less time Wheeler's getting beat on. He can catch his breath, so to speak, in his mind and formulate a game plan to try to pull something out here, because he probably is going to have to pull something out here in the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
You see Wheeler working on the right shoulder of Valko right in front of us here.
Points, points, points. That's what that is. Showing the judges that he's still working. Valko may be on top. He might look like the aggressor, but you know, Wheeler's doing a lot of work under there. I'm gonna tell you what, that is exhausting. That position is so exhausting. Valko's throwing some nice knees, couple elbows here.
Halfway through round 3, and the fans really getting into it right now.
I can barely hear you guys for the noise here, and it's because, you know, that goes to show the education level of the fans and Valko's fans. They know he's in a great position, dominant position. He even improved it there. His leg's being threatened again, but you know, they knew he was in a good position and had a chance to end it there, really, with strikes. He wasn't quite able to do it, but the fans recognized that. They saw it.
Valko tackled right into the cage as the action continues to be right in front of our monitors here. About a minute and a half left in round 3, and what's been an excellent fight. And both fighters, fellas, remarkably poised throughout this. You can just see the thinking taking place. You can see the thought process of both of these fighters.
Oh, absolutely, and you gotta look at the cardio of these guys. These guys are just continuously going and going and going and not stopping.
They look like they trained for a championship, a 5-round fight.
Oh,
Valko's in trouble.
We got a triangle.
Valko's in trouble. This is where cardio is really gonna pay off.
If Wheeler pulls down on that head, he's got it sunk in. It's deep.
He's got to pull that arm across his body. Valko's left arm.
He might try for an armbar out of this too.
Yeah, if he pulls it the other way. And really, if Wheeler pulls on his right foot, if he can reach up, pull on his right foot, he's going to tighten it and push that arm across his body right at him.
Right, absolutely.
Valko trying to work the hip to get out of it here. He's trying to push off, and again, that left knee is bothersome, and that's the one he's trying to push off with.
His head is truly torqued right here. The main thing in a triangle is gaining that angle. You want to gain the angle, and he gets out.
Wheeler has got to pull all the stops out now. Although this round, after that, it could go either way.
Right hand.
Valko may be tired. That triangle took a lot out of him.
Valko winced. That big right hand hurt him.
Yeah.
I think he got cut a little bit too.
If I'm Wheeler's corner, I'm wanting him to push off and throw a few punches right at the end here.
That's a bad cut. It's a good thing this round is ending.
Wow, great fight, great fight.
Wow, I want to stand up and clap. That was absolutely epic, might be a strong word, but wow, what a fight.
Well, guys, I said it at the outset of the professional bill here. There's a lot to live up to from all the action we saw from the amateur fights, but 1 for 1 in that regard. And we'll show a little bit from round 3 here as both fighters are dinged up on their respective left eyes. This is Valko on top, and take us through what you're seeing here, Adam.
Well, Valko is definitely looking to ground and pound, but immediately showing the poise of Wheeler, getting out of that position, showing the professionalism that he has. This being his debut, just absolutely amazing. Great job.
Very impressed. Very impressed.
That was a pretty good right hand.
I feel like depending on how this fight goes, the judges' scorecard, I mean, it's a hometown, it's hometown crowd for Valko. I don't know if that'll influence things, but if Wheeler would have pushed off and landed a few more punches, he might have stolen that round.
Might have made it more decisive.
Razor thin here.
I don't know who to give it to.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm leaning Valko. He's limping on that knee. Isaac Greeley, one of the main coaches at the Mat Factory. Isaac Greeley, a former college wrestler himself at Pitt Johnstown. Fantastic trainer. Always has his guys ready.
Well, you want to work on wrestling, you go to Mat Factory.
No doubt.
Looking at Valko for a moment there, you could almost see him processing what had just happened the last round. You could see it almost playing through his mind. He was looking down at the mat and trying to read his lips a little bit. I probably don't want to read them on the air, but there's a couple of things that looked like he was muttering to himself. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Maybe make it close, but let's see what the judges decided. Let's go to Dan, who's
Ladies and gentlemen, this is just our first pro fight, and this is both their professional debuts. Can we hear it for both of these warriors this evening? One great job, gentlemen. Hats off. It's time for the official decision from our judges. Judge Rogers scores at 29-28. Judge Krushka scores at 30-27. And Judge Lepsevic scores at 29-28. All for a unanimous decision. For your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Shane Valko!
So Valko gets the victory. We'll get a little bit more analysis in a moment from Adam and Brian on the judge's decision. But right now, let's go into the ring and hear from Katie O'Malley, who's speaking with the winner, Shane Valko.
Thank you very much, Tim. Shane, congratulations on victory in your first professional fight. How does it feel? What was going through your mind tonight?
He's a tough competitor. I knew it was going to be a rough one. I felt like it was going to go a distance. I loved it, though. I loved the crowd. I loved everybody that came out to watch. It was a great time.
Both of you seem to be remarkably conditioned. You guys were fighting till the bitter end. Do you feel like your conditioning really contributed to your victory tonight?
Well, I watched him fights. I knew he was a goer. I knew he kept going. So I had to keep my training up and go and go and go and go. I knew it was going to be a battle to the end.
Based on your performance tonight, are we getting a good look at what you're going to look like throughout your professional career?
I'm going to look better. So.
Congratulations. Good luck to you. Tim, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Katie. So what did you guys think of the judges' scorecards after we thought it was going to be a close decision? At least one judge had all 3 rounds in favor of Valko.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, I can definitely see Shane definitely winning that fight. He definitely was the aggressor right out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was a bad decision at all. I think it was a good decision. And, you know, Wheeler's got a bright future.
Great fight to start off the professional part of the card. Plenty more to come right here at Stage AE. It's Gladiators of the Cage. North Shore rise to Power 3.